Hoy there, it's Skyward Shield. I'm sleepy. I woke up an hour ago. Welcome to Football Talks. We're on week 4 now, right, Bill?
Right.
I'm here with Bill as always, and we're going to cut right to the chase because there's not much news that's been going on off the field. No developments to those domestic violence cases. So we'll talk about some teams we don't usually highlight. The big shootout from last week, which people arguably consider their favorite. I
Oh
personally
man.
enjoyed it because it wasn't a one-sided slaughter like Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville.
Yes.
That was terrible for them, but anyway, here's a shootout that wasn't so one-sided. Washington Redskins at Philadelphia Eagles. We called it, and it happened, 34-37.
Oh,
It wasn't a field goal at the end. That wasn't necessary.
yep. I that game when you watched when you watched that game, it just was it had an NFC East feel to it. It was chippy, it was mean, it was nasty, and you saw two teams that just really don't like each other going at each other.
Mm-hmm. It
And
it felt like an AFC, like the league where the Steelers, Ravens, Browns, and the Bengals
yeah.
are from.
Ooh.
It felt like
But
those games.
the most interesting thing about it is that Deshaun Jackson, the Washington Redskins wide receiver, came back. He basically played for Philadelphia last year, and this was his first game back to Philadelphia after being released by the Philadelphia Eagles.
What was their reason again? Him being too short?
It was Deshaun Jackson was a problem. He was a problem in their organization, and Chip Kelly didn't really like him, so they were looking for a reason to get rid of him, and they got rid of him.
They
Mm,
they may as well regret it.
And he signed with Washington to get revenge on Philadelphia by playing in their division, uh, and getting 2 games against them at all times.
Oh, how I wish he was with some other team I liked, but it's okay. They all have wide receivers. Cowboys have Dez Bryant. Texans have Andre Johnson, of course. Lions have Calvin Johnson.
Hey, you can never go wrong with too many receivers, but
Hmm.
he was getting booed out of the building in Philadelphia. I mean, literally every time he touched the ball, boo! You know,
Hmm.
and I found that to be a very interesting dynamic in that game, just to serve because you sort of saw that old school rivalry come back. It's been sort of dormant because both teams have been so bad, but it's starting to come back because both teams. I'm telling you, the Washington defense is much improved than last year.
Somehow, I don't.
I
They're saying that team is getting way better, way fast. Well, I mean, Kirk Cousins, yeah, that guy's got he's got a football arm really itchy and ready to throw. But
a Michigan State guy too.
Bill, please, I don't know.
uh,
I don't know. Well, I mean, now they have Deshaun Jackson, so there's somebody good for them.
they have Pierre Garcon, and they have weapons, but their defense played decently well against that offense that they were facing off against. Philadelphia's offense is scary.
They still couldn't
It,
stop them. The only way you can win is if you can stop that speed.
yeah,
You
they,
stop.
they they play so fast, but I mean that game was just so much fun to watch, wasn't it, there, Josh?
I couldn't watch it till the end, but yeah, when I got to the end, that was good.
Yeah, oh my God. Even the end, it was amazing. That game seriously had that game is a game of the week candidate right there. I mean, it had everything about it.
Uh huh. that is possibly one of my game of the week candidates, but I also got another rivalry. But that's your game, the Detroit Lions at Green Bay. I'm also mad that I can't watch the Green Bay. I have to watch the Green Bay game instead of the Lions this week because the Cowboys play a Sunday night, so there's a chance I could watch the Lions. But no, they got to prioritize Green Bay over here. So it's a good thing I'm going to that bar. I'm going to a bar this week to watch the Texans game.
Heck yeah, man.
Me and my friend are gonna go watch it. It's gonna be a sports bar. It's new,
Heck
but
yeah.
that's okay. I don't know anything. I've never been to a bar before, so this will be cool. Well, now that I'm 21, I mean.
Oh, you now. Uh-oh.
No.
No,
Well,
I'm
I'm
just
not
kidding.
gonna drink. I'm not gonna drink.
I know. I'm messing. I'm messing.
I
But
could, that I don't want to. But what was I
but
gonna say? Okay, there was that game, and the other game we're gonna talk about, the other NFC game, the Cowboys come back. It may not mean
oh,
much, but it's kind of a sign that they're improving. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
heck yeah.
So what were you gonna say? Because I have something else to talk about with the Redskins Eagles game. But
The really that I think this is where you're gonna go with it too. Is that the end of the game it got too chippy for its own good. You
mm-hmm.
know, it got too chippy,
I
and
I haven't seen that many flags since last year
that blind side cheap shot on Nick Foles,
by
it
Baker.
was uncalled for, and I do not blame Jason Peters, the offensive lineman for the Eagles, for getting ejected in that game, because that's what good teams do. They protect their quarterback no matter what.
Mm-hmm. You protect the leader.
I mean, if you were to compare that to the New York Jets, no, last night's game, the New York Jets don't seem to be protecting Geno Smith like he's our guy. I need to protect him. No, I saw some screaming on. I thought I saw some screaming on the sidelines, but good teams like Philadelphia, like Detroit, they stick by their guy. They protect their guy no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm. This is what I'm worrying about. Does this mean the Redskins and the Eagles are going to go for the playoffs? Because we all thought, yes, it's going to be Eagles hands down, but now the Redskins are basically putting a screw in everybody's predictions.
I'll put it this way: the Redskins will not make the playoffs with Robert Griffin III as their starting quarterback. They have a chance with Kirk
I'm
Cousins.
assuming they're keeping Kirk Cousins.
They do not have a chance with RG3. He was overhyped. He got overhyped. He's not as good as what everyone says he is. I I would rather have Kirk Cousins underneath center right now than RG3. At least Kirk Cousins can throw some touchdown passes.
Some, well, he throws a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they need to really work in the running game and get going on the running game, because if they do, then they could be a scary team in the NFC East.
Mm-hmm. That makes me wonder what will the Giants and the Cowboys do, because well, if they want to make this as competitive and great to watch like how it used to be, they have to catch up too. Romo can throw a lot of touchdowns if you give him the opportunity, but even so, they need a better defense. It's not as bad as last year though, because that
It's
defense is
not.
certainly improving, but we'll talk about that later. Giants have gotten their act together too, which we'll also talk about later, as it pains me to say it.
They'll be all in the picks section.
Actually,
All right.
is should we convert to the picks right now?
I thought you well, I mean, you want to talk about your teams or not?
What do you mean? Oh, not the.
Are
I
we
mean,
gonna
not the
talk?
picks. We're talking to our. We're going to talk about the games, last week's games.
Oh,
My bad.
okay.
What else is
I,
there to say about the Eagles Redskins game?
There really wasn't too much more. I mean, I thought it was a well played game that, it was high scoring. It was very enjoyable to watch.
The only thing I'm disappointed in are those fans booing Deshaun Jackson. You guys were loving him the past couple of years before. The least you could do is see him off with a smile. But
Uh,
NFL fans will be NFL fans.
no, I mean, as with any returning star for any sports team in any city in America, if he comes back and he's not wearing our jersey, we're gonna boo him unless he played here for 18 years.
Like,
Yeah,
well, like Peyton Manning. He was the only one that didn't get booed recently.
right.
Because they know he did good things for the Colts.
Really, really, why would the Colts fans boo him for being in Denver? I mean, basically all ownership did was, show him the door and said, "Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck face off in the AFC. I mean, it goes against my pick, but you know what would be great payback for Peyton Manning is to defeat Andrew Luck in the AFC title game in Indianapolis in front of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of show everybody who's boss.
And take a spot for the Super Bowl at the same time.
Exactly.
No, but I doubt
But
that
yeah,
was going to happen. It's probably going to be the Bengals or the Patriots going up there, but we'll talk about the Patriots right now, actually. Is that okay?
heck yeah.
Well, the Patriots
Oh,
against the Raiders, that was a much more low-scoring game than I expected.
yeah, the Patriots just don't look like they did 5 years ago on offense. But that's not to say that I would rather win games like they're winning games now than win games like they were winning them 5 years ago, because that takes a winning attitude. Winning attitude is built through adversity and being close to defeat and then powering through it and getting a win no matter what. Whereas what they were doing, they were just blowing out teams, not having any adversity, and then in the Super Bowl, they faced adversity for the first time and they lost.
To the Giants, no less.
Yep.
I didn't like those. Not at all.
But I mean, they'll have to clean some stuff up. But I think that's a positive win for the Patriots. Not what Patriots fans are used to, but I'd say I'd rather this than that.
Well,
Personally.
here's the thing. There's a game I know that's going to be on Sunday Night Football. Is it this week or next week? What game? What
Oh,
are the? What's the Patriots game this week?
Kansas City
Okay, then
on
it's not.
Monday on Monday Night Football.
That's not it. That's not the one I'm looking for. But it's the other one. Bengals at New England. That's a Sunday Night Football game,
And
and
it's
that's
going to be
that's going to really test them. I don't know about the Chiefs. They might, but I can assure you the Bengals are definitely going to test them because, well, we all know that the Bengals have the potential to go through to the Super Bowl. They just have to beat the Broncos,
yeah.
no matter where they go. So I don't know.
I mean, the Bengals seem to be the most complete team in the NFL.
They're the only AFC team without a loss so far. Who's the NFC teams that are undefeated? Is it just the Eagles?
It's Eagles,
I think there's one more.
the Arizona Cardinals.
They're undefeated?
Correct.
Damn. I don't think they'll have it that long, though, to be honest. I don't know. I just don't know.
They're a scary team.
They
They
are.
are not to be. They are not to be messed with, and that's with a backup quarterback in 2 games for them.
Yep. But I don't know. But the Cardinals, I think they're gonna take that they're gonna take the division spot for the playoffs. Seahawks are gonna have to settle for a wild card, but that's not gonna say they're not gonna go far. They can. But back to the Patriots, they have this week's game to deal with, and then the next week, so they have one bit of a mixed team. They can do good or bad. I don't know. And then on the other hand, the one after, you will definitely have a good team to go up against. And if they're low scoring, the Bengals kind of are. They kind of score low at first, but then as the game proceeds on, they start getting more and more touchdowns. You know what I mean? That seems
Right.
to be the strategy. Warm up with a little bit of points, then go in for the big plays. Like you saw the touchdown to Andy Dalton, and I did not say that wrong.
Yes. I mean,
That's a play of the week
I,
right
I
there.
I think that the Patriots are going to have to clean up some things, and that this Monday night test will be a perfect place to do it. But last week they were tested, they came out, and they won, and that's all that matters
Mm.
in the end.
The defense for the
Yeah,
Patriots did solid. It's just that offense making plenty of missed opportunities where some of the players you should have caught that.
correct.
So I don't know. But anyway, we'll move on to the other AFC team, the Texans. They
Oh man.
all my teams won except for this. This would have been a great week if they won, but they couldn't because the Texans. I have now realized how their defense is structured. They're a pass rush defense. They can't stop the run. This is And with that, because they lost to the Giants, a team that usually doesn't go for the rush, I'm worried about week 5 when they go against the team who's now kind of having to use the rush, the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas. If you can stop the Giants, who aren't the best rushers ever, what are you going to do against one of the best rushing teams in the league? Because
well, right now,
what?
the it's week 4, so the Texans still have a week before the Cowboys.
Yeah, but that makes me wonder: are the Bills going to try and rush it? Because that's their only shot at real good practice. What better
Right. True.
experiences than on the battlefield, right?
Uh, they have Fred Jackson do the Bills, so I I can see your concern.
Yeah, because I really want them to beat I want to win the Texas Showdown in Dallas, so I can rub it into my grandparents' faces.
I'll put it this way: I really think that that loss was the best thing that could have happened to the Texans. It woke them up. It's like, hey, even a 0-2 team that's playing horrifically bad on offense, they can still beat you. If if you're not executing correctly on both phases of the game, both sides of the game, did the Texans not look good? And what didn't help is that Arian Foster was not out there.
They acted like they were doomed because Arian Foster wasn't there. I mean, I have faith in that backup runner, Blue, but they just didn't trust him. Remember, one time he made a 50-yard run that led to another touchdown. Remember, if you recall.
Right.
So it's like you guys should trust he's your backup. You have to have faith in him too. Sure, he is an Arian Foster, but that doesn't change anything. He's still your runner, and he's proven that he can do it. He can run. The boy can run. You just got to give him that ball and trust him more.
Correct.
And
I mean,
Fitzpatrick really wasn't on his A game. That was when he was starting to show himself as Fitzpatrick.
yeah, I mean, that's a typical Fitzpatrick performance right there. He plays pretty terribly sometimes.
That's what I'm worried about with the Cowboys game and the Bills, but I don't know. The Bills have a solid defense, do they? Because I think you might have said they did once. I don't remember.
The the Bills have a pretty solid defense. They don't they don't mess around. They're decent. I'll put them more middle of the road, which means that they're dangerous.
Mm-hmm. So I think they can beat the Bills next week, but they really got to learn to stop the rush. Because remember, after that they have a what I consider a wild card team. Not because I'm not meaning in terms of playoffs, because what I mean they can do anything. The Cowboys can really win any game. They've proven that with last year's game with the Broncos. If you could have nearly beat the Broncos, you can pretty much beat anybody.
Their offense is designed to be explosive.
And
It's
it's really underrated.
how will this defense react?
Which defense? Any defense?
The Cowboy
Oh,
the Cowboys defense and the Texans defense. The Texans defense sort of looked kind of humiliated.
mm-hmm. J.J. Watt only got one sack at the beginning of the game, and that was it. Eli Manning was totally comfortable. Even when he did go to passing, nobody can get to him.
Correct.
That's
I mean,
that's what's scary. What happened?
but that's all correctable in the future. So, I mean, the game showed the flaws and the weaknesses of the team. It's now up to the team to work on those flaws and weaknesses and make them strengths.
This might be a knee-jerk reaction, but I've always wanted to see this guy go at it. I really want to see Tom Savage come in either next year or sometime soon, because I think that guy has potential. I've seen him how he throws the football. It looks like it's pretty good. But they're
Right.
probably going to prioritize Case Keenum over him.
I'll put it this way: he's a raw, untapped talent, but with raw talent, look at what happened with Geno Smith. Geno Smith was raw talent. He had no one to learn under, so he was forced into the game. He's learning on the job, and learning on the job, he's looking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave him in there, you leave him as a backup, polish him up, and he comes in and he could be a 15-year starter for you.
Probably. But I don't know. I wonder if this guy is going to get use. I just get that feeling that he might not, and that's what worries me, because I actually want to see this guy. I mean, look at the name sounds good too, Tom Savage.
Oh man.
Savage, I
But
hope to see in the future, but I doubt they're gonna switch him unless Fitzpatrick gets injured. I hope I don't jinx that.
Right.
But
Oh man.
we'll move on to the NFC games. Bill, your game's up first.
Ooh. Oh my God, my Detroit Lions, they shut down Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
He was pissed that
and,
game the whole way through.
and Aaron Rodgers was crying tears of cheese.
Hey, I like
it
cheese.
It was so good too. Oh my God, him and his typical whenever a wide receiver doesn't catch a football, obviously there's pass interference somewhere. The typical arm flail of Aaron Rodgers. Oh well, that's a penalty and that's a penalty and that's a penalty. No, just accept the fact that the Detroit Lions are a better football team than you. The Green Bay Packers did not look good at all.
Mm-hmm. That reminded me a lot of the Thanksgiving game from last year.
But what's scary is that the Lions didn't look good on offense and they shut them down on defense. If they keep playing defense like that and that offense gets clicking, they are a team to be reckoned with.
Oh, I thought they already were.
That if they can get that offense going, and this week is a perfect opportunity to do this, if they can get going on offense and just not have one of their they get going on offense and score a bunch of points, still keep it up on defense, no matter if one of our players decides that he wants to jump around and pull his tear his ACL, because that was annoying. Oh, I'm gonna celebrate a sack. Time to rip out my ACL and be done for the year.
I'm sorry, Bill, but he kind of had that coming. No pun intended.
I mean, seriously. I mean, that was so horrifyingly bad and stupid. It was so bad. I'm not gonna lie. Ugh.
Can't you get flagged for a pelvic thrust?
I don't know, but
I could have sworn someone got flagged for that.
what? This brings up an important question. How the hell do you how the hell do you rip off your ACL with a pelvic thrust? God damn!
It's like,
What does he not? He didn't use Elvis's workout, obviously. Good Lord.
probably not. But I will say
But
this.
serious.
I will say this. They did good beating the Packers, but this was again at home. I've said this to you before, Bill, and I will keep bringing it up. They're giving me the Saints Seahawks feel where they play great at home, but outside they play all right everywhere else, and that's what I'm worried about. If you can play like this on away, then I will admit that you guys are really something to be reckoned with. I just don't want another Saints team or a Seahawks team. You know what I mean?
I'll put it this way. This week will be the week that the Lions show people what they're made of.
Who are they going up against? The Vikings?
The New York Jets.
Oh,
In New York.
they get back-to-back NFC North teams.
The New York Jets got 3 straight NFC North teams.
Who's next?
They got to play the Bears, and then they got to play the Packers, then they got us.
Wait, they played the Bears last week.
Yeah, no, I meant they got the Packers, then the Bears, then us.
Oh yeah, so then the Vikings are somewhere later on.
Yeah, sometime
Well,
later
maybe
on.
they
But
can beat
I
them.
mean, overall, the game was a solid game. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't bad.
It was
just
spectacular
meh.
in terms of a rivalry game because they shut them out. That hasn't
It
happened.
was. They didn't shut them out. It was 19-7.
Yeah, no, well, I don't mean like well, you know what I'm trying to say. They beat their rivals for once with
Right.
Aaron Rodgers.
I,
Last time they beat him without him there. So this feels important to the Lions.
well,
I'm,
the team's been a losing team for a very long time. Any meaningful win's always a very meaningful win.
well, that's what I'm wondering. Can they beat them at the end of the season? Because I believe they are the last team they play against at the very end, at Green Bay.
I think that they'll clinch the division and not even have to play their starters against Green Bay.
I really
They'll
hope it
mock
does.
them.
I really hope it doesn't come down to that because I don't want it to
I
be like every.
want them.
Oh, what?
I want them to be resting their starters because that means they got a first round bye and then they can just mock the Packers and say this game is meaningless to us and you're meaningless.
It's like it was like the Chiefs game against the Chargers. They rested all their starters for the Colts for what I consider the real Super Bowl, the Colts and the Chiefs, 45-44. But anyway, what I was gonna say was I really hope that Green Bay Detroit the next game is not like a typical end of the season Dallas game where it's either win it or go home.
right.
That's what I'm hoping it doesn't come down to. Because you don't like those type of games where it's a win or go home. Because the pressure falls on everybody. That's not good. And it can lead
Right.
to, well, you wanna know what it leads to? Just look at the Cowboys for the past few years. You'll see exactly what it leads to. Pure disappointment. But speaking of the
Well-
Cowboys, let's transition to them.
Yes. Uh,
Cowboys
the most
made a comeback.
They did.
It was originally 21-0. They got a pick six off of him too, I believe. And then of course
Yep.
DeMarco Murray fumbled the ball again. I think we'll just staple this in as a trend now. DeMarco Murray has to fumble the ball in the first quarter.
For them to start scoring touchdowns after that. They didn't score any touchdowns before he fumbled the football, but after he fumbles footballs, they score tons of touchdowns. It's like some weird voodoo hacks.
But after that, they rallied for a time. I thought it was like, what, 20 unanswered points before they finally got something in?
Yeah, it was like 20 unanswered, and then they kicked the field goal and made it 24-20.
Then they got a touchdown. Who was it to Dez? Was it that one where Dez was literally wide open?
I think it was.
Like, you
I
don't
mean,
leave Dez. This is advice to the Rams. You don't leave Dez open. That's kind of a general rule because, sure, he's egotistic, but he's good.
let's leave the 6'5" egotistical guy that's right yelling at you that he's the greatest receiver, and let's leave him wide open in the middle of the field with no one around him.
Yeah, let's let him prove he's right. Let's let him
I
make it.
mean,
Let's make him right for once. You know what I mean.
I know this will sound bad, but I would have laughed if he dropped that wide open pass.
I would have been mad if he dropped that wide open pass. Like, bro, you don't drop those. They're not gonna let you have another one of those shots.
I won't lie, but Dez comes from a hard upbringing, so I have all the respect in the world for him.
He reminds me of Kanye West for some reason.
Yeah, I have all the respect in the world. It's just, Dez, calm down, man.
You should
calm down. We get it. You're good. You don't have to tell people that you're good. Just prove that you're good.
you need to tell me about Dez after this podcast. I actually want to know what you're talking about.
He constantly boasts about
No,
himself.
not that. Where he said he came with hard upbringing. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, basically all his parents, etc., was drug addicts and drug dealers.
Oh, well, I can relate in a way.
He came from that sort of upbringing, and made something out of himself.
To start from something so low and become so great like that, or become so famous or whatever, I guess that does make sense. As you've achieved something in your life when you get to such a high status from starting so low in the chain.
Exactly. I have all the respect in the world for Dez Bryant.
You can't blame him for him getting a little egotistical. Well, not a little is exaggeration. What am I talking about? That happens to those who start out with literally a small ego or none. Stuff like that can really inflate you.
I really wish that he would provide the example for everyone that comes from that sort of upbringing. So that way, he would have the dignity of being the best player in the league, playing for one of the most respected franchises, and just look at what sort of role model he would be compared to what he is right now. He would be a mega star.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, a cartoon. He would be a mega star. He wouldn't be, like the number 2 receiver. Most people would be like, well, it's 1 and 1A with, him and Calvin. I would say Calvin's 1 and Dez is a firm number 2.
Mm-hmm. They both can catch. Sometimes it really is hard to tell who's the better ones. At times. I still say Calvin's the better one, but it's not by much compared to Dez.
Calvin's got freakish ability. And
they both can catch balls in double or sometimes more coverage. Remember last year, Calvin caught it in triple coverage in the end zone?
There's certain catches that Calvin can make that Dez can't.
Mm-hmm.
The layout freakish diving catches. Dez doesn't do those. Calvin can, and that's what separates him.
Hmm. Well, back to the game itself. Murray was able to run the ball. Romo was actually able to improve, aside from giving the ball to Murray. And, well, let's not forget, there's a pick six off the Rams. That really pissed off the players. You saw how a fight nearly broke out on the Rams side?
Oh
Like he
man,
shoved the
yeah,
quarterback. The quarterback was trying to console that guy. It's like, dude, don't get mad at the quarterback too much. You gotta catch the ball, too. There,
yeah. That's always a good idea.
sometimes blaming your quarterback is the worst thing to do, especially when it's your fault. You couldn't catch the ball. You know what I mean?
Right,
Sometimes.
right.
Sometimes if you know somebody's going to try and pick off that ball, you may as well dive in for it. You might not gain as much yards because you want to grab that ball and still run, but if you could prevent an interception, it's better just to do that. Catch it right there. Don't even go anywhere with it. Just keep it than to run. But
Right.
you never blaming your quarterback will never be good, especially when you go to the locker room. That coach is going to chew you out later.
Never a good idea.
The Rams have to learn from that when they go next week against. I think they go against a division team. I don't remember who they go up against, but whatever. As for the Cowboys, they've got who do they have? Oh yeah, they have the Saints. And I actually think there is a way that they can beat the Saints, but it depends. It's what everybody's been saying. But I think there's another reason for this game in particular to run the football. But we'll get to that in the picks actually. Anything else you want to say about
And
the Cowboys Rams game?
no, I mean, really, the comeback was about the major thing in that game, and it was a good comeback.
I th-
It shows resolve, and that's what the Cowboys need. Now they just need to put it all together.
I think this was I wouldn't know if you call it a hope or just like a little breath of life for both the offense and the defense. Because the defense needs all the any more breaths of life to get somewhere. But that was something that they needed to start going somewhere, especially come next game when you go up against a great offense that is the Saints. They
Yep.
needed this win before going up against a big team like the Saints. Because remember, even though I don't like them and they're not playing as good as they used to, they're still good. So
They're still a really good team.
they really needed this to get their act together. And if they could stop Drew Brees, hell, if they could just pick a ball off of him, that's going to mean a lot to the defense. Because
Oh
you
man.
can't take the ball away from Jimmy Graham or one of his other receivers. You got to
Right.
take it before he can. Because
Right.
I will admit it, if I had a fantasy team, I would consider picking Jimmy Graham because Jimmy Graham in the end zone, he's always going to get the ball. It's rare when he
Right.
doesn't catch the ball. The only way he can't catch it is if it's overthrown. It doesn't always happen. Somebody blocks it, which sometimes doesn't always happen. He always gets it. Because
Right.
Drew Brees and the Saints are really good in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's what makes them scary. So, with that said, I think we'll go on to our picks now.
Heck yeah. Alright, so this is week 4. There are bye weeks this week. 4 teams on bye week. I'm pretty sure it's 4 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Who's on
5,
bye?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 13 games, so there should be 6 teams. I think it's
Bengals, I think the Raiders.
Bengals, Seahawks, Broncos. Uh, it looks like the Rams, the Cardinals. And I don't know
I
if the
think
other
I
team
think
will.
the Raiders are also on bye because
No, the Raiders are playing this week.
oh damn, they had an early bye, I believe. Maybe.
But we'll start with the games and we'll figure it out from there.
Alright, it's okay.
All right. So the Thursday night game on CBS and NFL Network, the New York Giants at the Washington Redskins.
For this one, I don't know if it'll play as a shootout. I don't know. I think that the Redskins are going to take it. I think that as long as Kirk Cousins doesn't get the balls picked off, he's gonna keep getting them in the end zone, and that Washington defense is starting to get its act together, much more faster than the Cowboys, surprisingly. So I'm gonna go with the Redskins. I wish it would just be a tie, but that's not gonna happen.
I am also going Washington. I feel that Kirk Cousins is the real deal. That he is the future Washington quarterback, and I feel the Giants just have no defense, and they're not going to play really well after playing really well against Houston.
Which I'm fine with them losing, because fuck the Giants. But then again, I hate the Redskins, I hate the Giants, and I hate the
Oh
Eagles.
man!
No, I don't mind the
Oh
Eagles.
here,
I don't mind the Eagles, actually. It's because they're green.
here we go.
Sunday.
Sunday games, 1 o'clock. The Green Bay Packers at the Chicago
Fuck
Bears.
that game. I don't want to watch that. I wanted to watch the Lions game. I'm gonna go with the Green Bay. It's gonna play like that Super Bowl game, or not Super Bowl. That win or go home game from last year, at the very end. If you recall, do you recall the score of that game?
No.
It was game of the week. The Green Bay Packers barely got it in, so I think it's gonna be a clutch win for Green Bay.
I'm gonna go Green Bay, but I really hope that both teams forfeit and they both and it acts like a loss for both.
That won't happen. It's going.
I know.
You're just
I
hoping
know,
for a
but
tie.
I just want the. I'd rather the Packers win, so that way the Bears lose, and that way the Lions have first place all sewn together
Oh yeah.
for themselves.
But they have to win this week's game to get that.
Come on now.
I know.
Come on now.
I know.
Okay.
Just tell me the game.
Spoilers. Okay, next next game, the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans.
Well, the Bills are losing that hype. If they can bring it back in this game, they're going to lose. I think the Texans are going to rebound, and they need to, especially before they go to the big Texas showdown that we've been talking about so much the week after. I'm going with the Texans. And I'm really hoping Andre Johnson finally gets a touchdown, because I don't think he's had one yet. I want him to catch more touchdowns, so that way he's considering to stay, because him and a lot of other players want to go jump on the Denver bandwagon, because they want a ring.
I'm going to just be flat out honest. I think the Bills are going to come back to earth a little bit. I still think that they can make the playoffs, but I think the Texans are just going to be a much better team than them this week, and they're going to win. The Texans.
Nice.
Alright, so, next game up. The Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh God, do you really need to ask? Andrew Luck is going to really get a lot more touchdowns. It's going to feel like a high school homecoming game. And that home team is actually really good.
Yeah.
The Colts.
Jake Locker's gonna need to clean out his locker after this game.
Oh.
I'm picking the Indianapolis Colts to defeat the Tennessee Titans.
Alright, next game.
The Carolina Panthers at the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, I actually think this is my upset of the week. Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to rebound, though I don't think Cam is going to play as much. I think that backup quarterback is what's going to help seal the win.
Oh man, I'm going to go Panthers as well. This is going to be a brutal game. This is going to be brutal. Both teams are going to ferociously attack each other, and it's going to be a low-scoring, like 17-10 game.
Well, Bill, I'll put it like this: we know who might win because, well, what do cats like to eat?
Birds.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, the Detroit Lions at the New York
I'm
Jets.
still mad that I can't watch that. Damn local listings. Lions. I think this will be the time where Rex Ryan finally cries. Bill's wishes will be met. I don't
My
think it'll be a
wishes.
shutout. Geno Smith is going to try, and he's going to get a pick off of him. Cal
I
Golden
I
Tate's
am
going to get a
forecast.
touchdown.
I'm going to forecast the Detroit Lions winning 56 to nothing.
Are you sure you're
and
not overestimating
and
it?
I want it to be 56 to nothing. I want Rex Ryan to cry and then throw his clipboard down and start stomping around like a child.
Wow.
But I'm such a jerk.
Bill, please.
Next up,
You really want to see that guy
next
fucking cry. I want his
next
brother to
up,
cry, and that's later, but that's later on.
next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh god, one-sided slaughter. Pittsburgh, that defense is going to dominate. They're getting hell. I wouldn't blame the Steelers head coach to just call back the starters, let the backups get some experience in on this one. I wouldn't blame them at all. They can still win with those guys.
I think that literally a team full of preschoolers could beat Tampa Bay right now. So, I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, oh, that Buccaneers team, they just look like an 0-16 team in the making right there. Pitt.
Poor guys.
So next up, the Miami Dolphins at the Oakland Raiders.
Oh man, isn't this at Wembley Stadium?
It might be,
This might be that London game. If so,
yeah, very possibly.
oh man, yeah. Dolphins are gonna have this one. I won't. I will say the Raiders will put up a fight as usual, but the Dolphins are just gonna do way better in everything else. I'm going with the Dolphins.
I'm saying that the Dolphins are going to win this game as well. The Raiders have a good young quarterback, but really, I mean, they're missing a few pieces, and that's quite a long flight from Oakland to London.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of slaughters, the 4 o'clock games. Jacksonville Jaguars at San Diego.
Oh man, I know Blake Bortles is in there, but Philip Rivers has got that experience. He's gonna teach him a trick or two. Philip Rivers and the Chargers have this. I predict 31-21.
The the Jacksonville Jaguars have not given up less than 40 points. So I'm picking the Chargers to score for more than 40 points again against the Jaguars, and they're going to win.
Damn.
I was so wrong about the Jaguars. They are even worse than they used to be.
Well, again,
But
they have Blake Bortles coming in, and it can change. You never know. I mean, despite that bad start, he still got 2 touchdowns against the Colts, so let's not dismiss him just yet.
Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles at San Francisco 49ers.
I don't know if you'd consider this another upset, but I'm going to go with Eagles. That offense is going to tear through that broken 49ers defense. It can stop some big plays, but they really need to get their act together. You lost to the Bears, and they're not from 1985. You should have won that last game, that home opener. I'm going with the Eagles.
You have opened my eyes to this possibility, and I am going Eagles as well.
Did you just suddenly change to that right now?
You convinced me there, sir.
It's just a shame on you for losing to the Bears like that.
You just can't do
They're
that.
the 49ers.
Right.
You shouldn't have allowed that. But yeah.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons at the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh god, I'm gonna like this game actually. Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons because I don't know. I think this is gonna be 21-14. Not that high scoring really.
The Falcons are still tired from running up and down the field that Thursday night game, but they'll get their legs under them to kind of defeat the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm predicting a Falcons win. The 8:30 Sunday night game, New Orleans at
You give
Dallas.
me yours first, because I don't know how long I'll be talking for this one.
I am going to pick the New Orleans Saints. Their offense is just way too much for this Dallas rebuilt defense, and I think this might be the start of the downward spiral for Dallas.
Okay, well for me this is more interesting because I do agree that the Saints can win, but would you call this an upset? Because I'm going with the Cowboys on this one because I'm a little more optimistic. It all depends on what they do. This is assuming nothing goes too wrong. Basically, the key to beating Drew Brees is to keep him off the field. You have to keep running that ball, eating away at the clock while getting those first downs. Take your time to getting to the end zone to score. Drew Brees, I don't know if can he really score really quick? Sometimes, yeah, but generally no, not really, right?
If he hits an 80-yard pass, that's a quick strike. So yeah, I
But it's
mean,
basically the key to stopping him. What better way is to keep him off the field and leave your defense well rested? So when they do go, they have to try their best for a quick three and out. You don't want him to get a first down. The key to stopping their offense is to not give them momentum. And if they can do
right.
that as well as still punching in those touchdowns, they've got it. I think they can beat the Saints, especially since they haven't been playing so well at away. So I'm going
Right.
with the Cowboys.
Okay, that is the upset special of the week right there. Holy crap.
Hmm.
Alright, so the Monday night game, the New England Patriots at the Kansas City
Oh
Chiefs.
God, I'm going with New England. This is like we were talking about their chance to get their act together, and well, the Chiefs aren't the best. They're still pretty formidable in offense. Alex Smith may have got his first win against the Dolphins, but he's not going to get his second against the Patriots. Oh no. Patriots defense is still working pretty solid. So it all depends. Can they stop Alex Smith and his team while the Patriots get some points in? If they can do that, the Patriots are going to win.
Yeah,
What do you got?
I I'm picking the New England Patriots. I think Tom Brady and company figure it all out. The offensive line finally protects him better, and he has a decent game. I feel that the Patriots are perfectly suited to play against the Chiefs.
That's good. Oh, you were right. Well, you were wrong about one thing you said earlier. My biggest upset would technically be the Eagles. Because I don't know. Like I said, the Cowboys can beat anybody if they really get their act together, but I think the Eagles is going to be surprising because I'm pretty sure everyone's going to want to pick the 49ers because they're still under
I,
that
I
mentality. Oh, it's the beginning of the season. They're going to still turn it around. I don't know.
well, we'll find out when the games play.
Anything else you want to add, Bill?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, this time I'm hoping all of my teams win this week. I'm hoping this is that first time, but we'll see. Anyway, I think that is all I'm gonna say. So, say time to say goodbye, Bill.
Bye there,
All right,
guys.
it's been nice. Well, see you guys after week 4 and into week 5. See you guys in another video.